Hi, my name is Kaolin. I'm here at Intention Studio today in Prescott, Arizona, and I'm here to share with you some ways to reduce the tension in your neck and your shoulders. And I do want to mention a couple things before we get started, and that is that a lot of people ask yoga instructors, they go to chiropractors and they go to physical therapists and they go to all these people looking for a solution to neck tension, pain, shoulder issues and things like that. And the truth is that everything's all connected. So you can't really isolate one thing and take care of it without addressing everything else. So as we go through these postures today, I just want to make that clear that should you feel any tension or discomfort elsewhere in your body, it's because all of those things are connected, and we're going to try to at least give you some options here to begin to address some of those issues. So we're going to start seated, and it's going to depend for you on how your low back feels, because what we're trying to get to here is a point where your spine is long. So if as you're seated, and it doesn't matter to me whether your legs are crossed or if you have a half lotus, right? Or whether you extend your legs forward, what we're looking for is to be grounded through the sits bones, the sitting bones. And those are those two bony protrusions at the base of your pelvis that you can feel when you sit. So depending on how tight your hips are and things like that, sitting in this position may not be comfortable. Or you might compensate and tilt your pelvis back where you have this rounded low back. And we're trying to avoid that. We're trying to stay lifted and tall. So one of the ways to address that right off the bat is to use a block or a blanket. I'm going to use a block today. And so this general seated posture is called easy pose, and it's sort of funny because it's not very easy for a lot of people, right? If your hips are tight and you have low back problems, we tend to kind of collapse in on ourselves, and what we're trying to do is get tall and big. So with that block underneath my hips, it allows my knees to come down and away. It opens up my hips. It allows my pelvis to sit more squarely on the floor or the block, and I can lift my chest. So you're going to find a seated position, whether your legs are extended or crossed, with or without a prop of some kind, so that your pelvis is oriented in a way that allows you to extend and lift. So we'll just start here. Close your eyes. Find a deep breath. And whether you go through, a yoga flow where you're connecting movements together, or whether we are just kind of moving from posture to posture, your breath is key. So stretching any part of your body without your breath means that you're missing a big part of the benefit that would come from that movement. So we're going to try to set our breath up here at the beginning. You can place your palms on your thighs. Lift through the crown of your head. Think about your ribs expanding out to the side, your chest drawing forward, and that space between your shoulder blades drawing out behind you. So making a 360-degree expansion. And even as you sit here, you might begin to feel some discomfort in your low back. So you're going to have to tighten up your core a little bit, give your low back some support. Draw your shoulders up towards your ears and down around to the back. So yes, easy pose takes work. And then from here, just slowly open your eyes. And we're gonna move through a few really gentle neck circles. And I'm not talking about cranking your neck all the way around. You're gonna lift through the crown of your head. And if you think about your chin either having a flashlight or a Sharpie coming out from it, and you're trying to draw a small circle. So it doesn't matter to me whether you go clockwise or counterclockwise, but just lifting your chin up and around, thinking about your skull on the top of your spinal column. And you're just barely rotating it on the top. I'm trying to think of a good image here. I'm thinking about putting chalk on a cue. Just that kind of motion. Match your breath here. So big breath in as you come up and around. Breath out as you come down and around to the bottom. The next time you come back to your neutral alignment here, we'll go around to the other side. So drawing your chin up and around the other way. Again, these are small movements. You're drawing a tiny circle with that Sharpie or flashlight. And the skull is just barely rotating at the top of the spinal column. Big breath. And then come back to your neutral alignment here. And then from here, we'll sit nice and tall, take a full breath in, draw those shoulders down and back. And slowly allow your chin to draw towards your chest, but we're not collapsing the whole upper body here. We're keeping the trunk extended and tall and just allowing the chin to come down toward the chest. And as we continue to sit here, you might find that your hips begin to tighten. Maybe you feel that discomfort in your low back. Remember, all these things are connected, so do your best to support your low back by engaging your core. On your next breath out, allow your hips and your knees to draw open. We're just allowing gravity to take our head down, not forcing it down. And then maybe roll it off to the side. Now we're not making a full circle here, barely coming into that half circle as we move side to side. Again, I encourage you to pause anywhere where you feel extra tension or where it feels particularly good, or you can feel that stretch is really benefiting you. This is an opportunity for you to listen to your body. So thinking less about what you've seen other people do and more tuning into your body and finding what works for you. If you can feel your chest start to collapse, take a big breath in and lift your heart. I can tell that mine's doing that a little bit here. And the next time you come back to center, reset your head above your shoulders. Draw your shoulders up towards your ears and draw them down and back. Take a big deep breath. And then from here, bring our hands to our heart. And instead of you taking your elbows down, you're gonna take your elbows out to the side. So you're pressing your hands together. And the tendency here can be for your shoulders to collapse in a little bit. So again, press them down and back. Draw your shoulders away from your ears. You can feel that stretch come across the top. Again, we're still staying lifted here. And then on your next breath in, reach your arms up over your head. Now, this is one of those things where I said everything's connected. So if you have issues with shoulder mobility, this might be a little bit of a challenge for you. With your hands together, you're gonna bend your elbows and draw your hands back behind your head. So sometimes when this happens, we tend to collapse in the upper spine. You're gonna try to stay as lifted as you can. So if you can get your biceps back towards your ears and drop your hands behind, that's great. Maybe you can't go quite that far and you're just lifting. You can also, from here, come to cactus arms. And again, you're lifting through your chest, but pressing your shoulders down. I'm gonna move back to this one here. So try, again, we're trying not to shove the chin forward, but try to keep the alignment of your neck and your spine, lifting your heart. If you can feel that tension creep into your hips, try to soften in your legs. Take another deep breath here. And then we're gonna slowly release, hands come up, arms come back down, give them a little break, roll out your shoulders. And then from here, we'll clasp the hands and extend the arms forward. So a lot of shoulder work here, continuing to press them down away. So we are reaching forward, but at the same time, we're trying to keep those shoulders from creeping up and pressing them down. And then from here, we're gonna take those arms back up and the palms are gonna come to the back of your head. This would be another opportunity for you to come to cactus arms here if you feel that your shoulder mobility isn't quite there for this posture. And again, we're not trying to press the hands into the back of the head so that your chin juts forward. We're trying to keep everything in line. Draw your shoulders down and away. Take a full breath in. And then from here, we're gonna slowly round. So your chin draws towards your chest, and your elbows come in, and you round down. So again, we're not drawing on the head here. It's just enough weight of the arms here to exaggerate that gravity pull a little bit. So I can tell at this point, this is where you get to find what all is connected. So I can feel this stretch all the way down into my low back. Five deep breaths here. Again, breath is key. So we're not here just to hold. The deeper that breath is, the more you're bringing in space from the inside. On your next breath in, you're gonna unwind here, kind of re-extend, open up those elbows, release your arms. Take a full breath in here. And with your chest lifted, go ahead and drop your chin towards your chest again, but this time without the round. And on your inhale, draw your head back up. Then from here, we're gonna come in to some more neck and shoulder stretching here. So you'll take one arm, it doesn't matter which, across the front. We get a little lazy with these stretches sometimes, so I'm gonna ask you to activate your arm. So your thumb points up, you're reaching across, and then the tendency is for that shoulder to creep up, so press it down and away. Stay lifted in your heart. Take a few deep breaths here. You can feel that stretch come into the top of your shoulder, across the outside here. And then you're gonna release that arm. You're gonna take the arm that was not stretched across and reach back for that arm. And you'll be able to see that here with my hand reaching and grasping my right arm. And then you'll drop your left ear toward your left shoulder. And so what we're doing here in the back is just sort of pinning this shoulder down and away and allowing gravity to take your ear toward your shoulder. This would be another place here where you could slowly rock forward, finding sort of a semicircle, maybe not a full half circle here. The small arc back and forth. Again, pausing anywhere along the way to find a deep breath. And spending some extra time where you feel your body needs it. And we'll carefully come back up and we'll go over to the other side. So left arm comes across this time, draw your shoulder down. Turn that thumb up, so active through your arms, still lifting through the chest. And then we'll take that arm that was stretched across around to the back. Your opposite arm comes around to grab for that forearm or elbow. Draw that shoulder down and away, and then allow your ear to drop towards your shoulder. And then as we're here, pay close attention again to your low back. Make sure your core is supporting that part of your spine and that you're still lifted in your heart. And then again, feel free to roll forward and roll back along that path, pausing anywhere where you feel tight. This is one of those things, women who carry heavy purses on one side tend to notice that one side is tighter than the other. I know for me personally, if I sit on the couch, I always sit the same way with my legs out to one side, and it causes one side of my neck to be tighter than the other. So it's just everyday wear and tear that brings us to this point sometimes. We have to do a little bit of maintenance to bring ourselves back to center. Then draw your head back up over your shoulders. Draw your arms to the front. We'll take a few more shoulder rolls here. So as you inhale, reach your shoulders high. As you exhale, draw them down and back. One more time here. Inhale, lift. Exhale, draw them down and back. Place your palms on your thighs. Close your eyes. Hopefully at this point you feel a little bit more lifted, a little more open in your neck and your shoulders, a little more able to stand tall. Of course, revisit this video anytime you need a little bit of respite for your neck and your shoulders. And thank you for joining me. Namaste.